Hello there! Welcome back to another episode of Rule the Waves 2 as Great Britain. The year is 1910 and we have just gone to war against France and America. There's going to be a fairly large war here, and we have some significant evaluations of ship strength and deployments to do. But first things first, we've got to reevaluate research and our combat doctrine. So we currently have fairly heavy development of machinery right now, but there are no new technologies in that coming up anytime soon, so I'm going to drop that down to low. And we can put that energy into more useful things like explosive shells and, where was it, here we go, AP projectiles. We'll bump both of those up as well. And then there's also no significant armor development anytime soon, so we'll bump that back down to low as well. Alright, now that our technology is taken care of, at least for the next year or two, let's take a look at our doctrine. We've had some significant developments in the effectiveness of our AP shells, so it's time to reevaluate those and to put a whole lot more emphasis into our AP shells. So when the game first started, we had an 80-20 distribution, which didn't work in the early time, but now that we're getting much more effective, it's time to rearrange that. So we'll go back to the 80-20 distribution for our heavy caliber guns. Alright, there we go. So we've got our 80-20 distribution of AP and HE shells. For the smaller guns, 4 to 6 inch secondaries, we still want an even mix because you never know what you'll be shooting against, whether it be destroyers or cruisers or who knows what. So we'll automate that. And now we also need to reevaluate what shells we're shooting at each target. So when our target is a capital ship, we're going to want to be slinging some fairly penetrating shells. We're going to switch all of our large caliber shells over to AP. And I think we're going to do the same thing with our 7 to 10 inch guns as well, since if we're firing against a battleship, we want to be punching through whatever armor they've got. So we'll keep that as AP. For our smaller caliber guns, 4 to 6 inch, we'll mostly be wanting to throw high explosive against them, since it's not really going to penetrate armor until we get close. And then once we get close, we can switch over to AP. Alright, so we'll save that. Moving on to armored cruisers, and we'll definitely want to be slinging armor-piercing shells against them with all of our large caliber and medium caliber guns. And with our smaller guns, our 4 to 6 inch guns, we'll actually want to be slinging some AP at medium range as well, since we do have enough effectiveness to start damaging their lighter armored sections. So we'll bump that up to AP. So we'll save that. And on our light cruisers, alright, let's see, we'll bump that up to AP as well. And we'll bump that up to AP. And yeah, that all looks good. So we'll save that. Now that we've redone our ammunition use doctrine, I think that'll probably last for the rest of the game, most likely. I don't intend to institute any special training because that significantly increases the maintenance costs of our ships. And our primary strength is number of ships, not quality of ships. So that will definitely start to show through in terms of numbers. We're currently facing 2 major navies, and we have more dreadnoughts than both of them combined. Very important there. Speaking of which, now that we have all of our pre-dreadnoughts in active fleet, let's do a quick evaluation of our military strength against France. So France does have 40,000 tons worth of dreadnoughts, and another 200,000 tons worth of pre-dreadnoughts. Ha! Those losses we inflicted on them in the last war are definitely starting to tell, because their entire capital ship tonnage is less than our pre-dreadnoughts alone, which is excellent news, because that means we can send our dreadnoughts over to deal with the Americans. armored cruiser-wise, we're also fairly well matched there. We have the superiority in armored cruisers, so I can boldly take just a few over to deal with America. We'll take the best ships to fight the Americans, and we'll leave the other ships to deal with the French. Same thing with the protected cruiser scheme. Again, we have a vast superiority against the French, so we can send our more modern ones to deal with the Americans. I don't intend to actually invade any American territories or even make the attempt, so I don't need to actually establish full-on superiority. I just need enough to prevent the Americans from invading my own territories. So let's take a quick look here. America currently has, looks like, most of her forces in the East Coast, but she does still have some ships in the Caribbean, and that is a threat. So we're going to have to deal with that. Alright, so we're going to send the dreadnoughts. Here we go. We'll send the dreadnoughts to the East Coast. And we'll also take the Invincible along as well. There we go, North American East Coast. And then we can send the Camperdowns and our, where was it? And our Hood. We'll move that one down to the Caribbean. So that'll be our capital ships deployed. Now we need to worry about secondary ships, cruisers and destroyers. We still need to keep some forces at home, but we can take these Floras, these nice modern cruisers, and we'll send those to the East Coast. Then we will send a couple of Intrepids over as well to the East Coast. There we go. That'll be a total of, oh, whoops, one more. There we go, North American East Coast. So that's 5 protected cruisers heading to the East Coast. And then we can send these other 3. We'll send those down to the Caribbean. That ought to cover things fairly well there. Alright, now we need to worry about deploying destroyers. So I'm going to take all of our modern Stour-class destroyers, and I'm going to send those straight over to the East Coast to face off against the American destroyers. And then we can also take a collection of Jed-class, our 600-ton destroyers, and we will send those to the Caribbean. I think 10 should be a decent force. We'll make it 12. And there we go. 12 Jed-class to the Caribbean, and then all 11 Stour-class to the East Coast. Alright, we already have our Dependence-class corvettes on trade protection, so those are fairly well taken care of. Well, they are starting to go obsolete. They still have their use, and they will have to serve through this war before we can do a proper refit on them. Same thing with the Derwent class. They're definitely somewhat lacking, but they'll have to deal with it. Alright, we'll call these Jeds back to Northern Europe, and we can send some of these Derwents in their place to the Mediterranean. There we go, got some ships in the Mediterranean. And we still have a number of Intrepids over there as well. So that should be good, maintaining forces in the Med. Alright, doesn't look like we have any invasion capabilities here. Oh, wait, hold on. We may be able to kick off an invasion of Corsica. Let's see. Yeah, There we go. We are able to plan an invasion of Corsica. It's a little bit late in the campaigning season, so I'm actually going to hold off on that. We're going to start planning that in January, and it'll kick off at the beginning of the year. Let's see. I would try invading Western France, but as a home area, it is not a valid invasion target, unfortunately. Let's see. As far as things over here, what about Maine? No, can't really... Well, I could invade Maine. And that would certainly be effective at safeguarding my other territories, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Let's see. Or we could go for the Antilles. Antilles, Haiti, Guantanamo Bay. All of those are possibilities. But again, we'll have to figure that out after the next few months of shaking out, because late in the year, I don't think any invasions are going to be going off successfully. We'll have foul weather and not a whole lot of time to gather stuff. So we'll start planning whatever invasion we're going to do in January time frame. All right, we did finish larger docks in the last episode, so I'm going to start building up larger docks. All right, and then we've got our deployments figured out. Let's see, is there anything else that we can do? Yeah, we're going to keep all of our pre-dreadnoughts around. I'm quite confident, having looked at the French dreadnoughts, that my Barfleur class will be an even match for them. And since we've got twice as many, they can certainly handle it. Alright, so looks like everything is set. Let's move on to the next turn. Actually, just a second, let's check construction. Okay, so we have design studies in progress for a new cruiser, which will be very nice. We've got dreadnoughts under construction, and we have some more Flora class coming out soon, so that'll be welcome. And I forgot to build more destroyers, so I'm going to lay down another group of Stour class destroyers. And just 4, and in another few turns, we'll lay down another 4. Alright, on to our next turn. Alright, so we have a coastal raid off France. And I am not a huge fan of these offensive actions that far out, especially in the medium size. That suggests that we're dealing with cruisers. And my cruisers are not in the best condition right now, so I'm going to decline that. Alright, here we go. We have a raid on coastal shipping. That is a large battle. That is one that I'm willing to accept. That'll have capital ships in the action. So I accept, and France accepts, and we have ships sighted. Alright, so our objective is to sink any 2 ships. And what sorts of forces do we have? Alright, we've got some cruisers spread out in a search line. So, fun fact, when these ships are assigned to a scout, they will spread out to properly scout until we encounter the enemy, and then they will change their formation in order to properly engage. Alright, actual battleship-wise, we don't actually have any battleships. So, we have heavy cruisers, and that looks like it. Sorry, armored cruisers. So, Europa class, and it looks like only 2 of them. Still very effective combatants, more than a match for any French armored cruisers, and if we've got armored cruisers, then they probably do as well. Now there's a non-zero possibility that they have their dreadnoughts out at sea as well, at which point we'll be in trouble. But for right now, not a concern. We'll see what they actually have. Alright, so far it looks like just a enemy cruiser. Never mind, just an enemy destroyer. Not even a proper threat. So we'll set our course for our destination, and it looks like we still have all afternoon to mix it up and cause some trouble. Alright, so as you can see, oh, here we go. Starting to sight some new ships. As you can see, our reconnaissance force, currently assigned to scout for the cruiser division, are still effectively spread out. But once we actually start getting into an actual battle, they'll start collecting together in order to properly engage the enemy. Yeah, you can see them starting to think about it. Let's see, still destroyers though, so I'm not too worried about it. So we'll turn back towards our destination and see what we can encounter. Looks like those destroyers are just running away. Alright, we'll pick up the speed, see what we find. Alright, there we go. I'll bet that is a transport and then an actual force to the north. Alright, so we'll plop down to normal game speed for now. Yeah, we're definitely starting to see some proper military forces there. Unfortunately, they are between us and La Rochelle, so we do not have them cut off. But I want to try and knock down that transport. There's no way that's a lone pre-dreadnought. Would certainly not be out on its own without escorts. Alright, let's start building up our steam. Coming up to speed and seeing if we can get this, yep, small merchant. We'll see if we can get that knocked out, and then we'll get into the actual fight. Alright. And, oh. Oh my. So, it looks like the French have brought out a battle cruiser against me. They've got a 6.5-inch belt. What kind of penetration do my guns have? I know I'm rocking 9-inch guns. So let's check the data. Yes, we are able to penetrate that. That said, their guns are easily able to penetrate mine, and we're going to have to get close in order to penetrate theirs. That's not good. So this is exactly the sort of engagement that I do not want to fight, but we may not have much of an option. So we're going to come up to speed, and we're going to turn away. Maybe we'll be able to engage them at night with a much closer engagement range. Alright, let's see. So we know that there's a battle cruiser out there. Let's see, how much time do we have? It is currently a little past 6 o'clock. Looks like sunset is coming soon. So yeah, we should be able to fight this at night if we can maintain the range open until then. Let's actually break to the east and see if we can get ourselves silhouetted against the sunset as we make our approach. Yeah, thank you for all those signing reports. I know there's a lot of Frenchies out there, but it'll be fine. On second thought, maybe not. They've got 3 armored cruisers in the mix as well. So we're just going to have to turn and run, and hopefully our forces can figure things out. Yep, here comes the sunset. We'll head north. Yeah, we're just going to disengage from this. And I'll consider survival with most of my ships to be a victory. Indecisive? Sure. But I'd rather an indecisive action than a horrible disaster which is what this very well may turn into if I actually fight. Alright, here comes the sunset. And aside from a few confused destroyers, I think we're fairly well set. Alright, we'll drop down to cruising speed so that our forces can start to reform. And it looks like they are all on the wrong course, which is good. We'll head to the... Actually, we still may be able to accomplish our objective of sinking a couple ships, so we'll head back towards port. At La Rochelle, see if we can find any transports or other lone ships. Looks like some of our destroyers are separated. And a cruiser as well. Hopefully they're able to get out of there. Yeah, looks like we've disengaged. So, indecisive night action. And that should be about it. Alright, we'll pick up the speed. Alright, we'll just hug the coast here for a little while. See if we can find any transports, coasters or other stuff cruising along. Alright. Got another random contact. Alright, and the scenario is over. Oh my goodness, our submarine has torpedoed an enemy battlecruiser. Outstanding. Oh my goodness, it sank. Our submarine has torpedoed the French battlecruiser and it sank. That was wholly unexpected, turning this from an indecisive night action to a glorious victory. Maybe there is something to these submarine things. Let's see. So down here we have the Tourville. Oop, that's not it. There we go. And ship details, yep. Torpedo. That'd do it. And then if they didn't bring flooding under control. Well, that certainly put paid to that. Alright, major victory. Gain 2 prestige. And 4,000 victory points. Outstanding. What a great way to start off. Enemy fleets dominate the seas around Nigeria. Lose 80 victory points. Well, that is unfortunate. Alright. So, gaining victory points for blockading. And our new cruiser, Proserpine. Oh man. Those ancient Greek names really drive me nuts. Probably almost as much as it does for the actual British sailors who worked on them. Alright, let's do a quick check of the design. Whoops. So we'll move that aside real quick. Pull that back up. Alright, let's double check the design. Everything looks good. We have 4 tons remaining, so no significant design changes. Yeah, this is looking to be a nice cruiser. Still got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gun broadside. But same number of guns as we had on the previous design. So more guns on the broadside, fewer guns overall, and she's got a decent collection of secondaries. And 26 knot speed. That is significant. Alright, so design is complete. I think we're going to build one. Alright, so we'll lay down one of those. She'll be coming out in 18 months. Actually, I think I'm going to build 2 of them. Alright, there we go. Okay, quick review of everything else we've got. Apparently we're blockading America as well. Well, that's unexpected. Where's all their forces? Oh. They moved their ships down to the Caribbean. Well, if they're willing to put themselves open to a blockade like that, then I will accept. And we... Oh, my strength is not looking good. I may be better off just evacuating the Caribbean and challenging them on the North American East Coast. How's the Emperor of India doing? Alright, up to a fair level. I think that's enough workup. We're going to deploy her now. We need her overseas. So we're going to send the Emperor of India to the North American East Coast. And then... should I relocate my dreadnoughts? I don't know. I'll keep them in the Caribbean for now, and we'll see what kind of strength they send when they send stuff north. How's our construction coming? When's our next battle cruiser coming out? 13 months. Yeah, it's going to be a while before we get any reinforcements. Hopefully the Invincible can hold on her own. Alright. Man, I do not like seeing that many obsolete ships. But there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Technically, I do have a number of Comus-class ships in Northern Europe, so I may as well start the redesign there. Alright, so we'll open redesign here. Very light on the rounds per gun. I don't see much reason to do any significant overhauls to these things. I know I've got a lot of weight remaining, but yeah, not a whole lot. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, hey! We can put mine rails on these things. Let's see what that'll cost. No change. No significant change whatsoever. Well, that's interesting. We could just slap on some mines on these things and call them good. I think I'll do that. Yes, I know fire control is not the best type, and this ship could have improved main guns, but these ships aren't intended to get into a battle in the first place. They're simply colonial ships. Alright, so we'll start rebuilding one of those Comus class. Do I have anything else in Northern Europe? Yes, I do. Alright, so we'll take everything that's currently in Northern Europe. Yeah, it looks like it. And we will rebuild these ships. Alright, and then it looks like we'll be going through the group 3 ships at a time with what looks like 3-month overhauls. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's see what I can do with the Derwent class, because I know we've got a lot of obsolete ships for that. Alright, so open design for rebuild. Alright, no significant changes there. Still can't improve fire control. Yeah, not a whole lot we can do here, but maybe we can stick some mines on. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, we could have improved secondary guns. Quality 1 2-inch guns. Oh yeah, that is a thing. What would it cost? Still 3 months, but going up to quality 1 2-inch guns. That significantly bumped up the cost for this, so I do not think I will do that. So let's cancel. Oops, let's actually design the rebuild. Yeah, we'll stick with that. We'll just stick some mines on, give it a quick dusting and a hull cleaning in the dry dock, and call it good. Alright, so we will save that. And there's one ship in for rebuild, and we'll take another... Oops, don't want to build those. Let's do these ones. Derwents, there we go. How many destroyers do I have in Northern Europe? Okay, we've got plenty enough Jed class in Northern Europe, so I'm actually going to rebuild the entire collection of Derwents. And they're so cheap. Yeah, they're so cheap that barely added anything to my expenses. Outstanding. I mean, technically there's still a few ships obsolete in the Mediterranean, but we'll worry about those in 3 months. That'll be an easy swap out. Now I know the Jeds will need some refitting at some point soon as well. So let's take a quick look at that. Yeah, nothing significant there. And of course the Stowers are already outstanding designs, so nothing to do there. And these Dependence class ships, they are starting to go obsolete. But I think they'll be fine for now. Actually, what would it take to do a quick refit on these? We'll just take 4. Yeah, not a whole lot that we can do with them. So we'll just do a quick dust off. And we'll call that good. We'll rebuild 4 of these. And then we'll probably shuffle things around. Once the Derwents come out, we can use those to fill in for trade protection while I refit the Dependence class. Excellent. We should be able to get everything modernized in a fairly short order. Alright. Time to move on to our next turn. Actually, let's check submarines real quick. Wow, that's some pretty significant steps up for those submarines. Maybe I should build a couple more. Given that they've already sunk a enemy battle cruiser. Let's check the almanac real quick, see what actual effect we had. Okay, so they do still have a battle cruiser out. So that's still a significant challenge. But I'm confident that we can handle it. Alright, let's move on to our next turn. Alright, we have a convoy defense, size medium. Not a big fan of these medium-sized fights. They tend to be cruiser actions. But maybe this is a chance to sink another battle cruiser. Oh, nope, doesn't look like it. I see 2 cruisers, protected cruisers. Oh, Hermione class. Ah, well, it's the slower ones, but they are slightly more modern, more capable. We'll see what things do. Where's the convoy? Alright, sorry about that. Had a bunch of texts coming in. Didn't want that interrupting anything. Alright, back to the game. We have a convoy to defend, and it looks like they are due south from us. Alright, let's get this battle started and see where things go. There we go, recenter things, and here we go. Let's see what we find. We've got 2 cruisers, and there we go. Unknown ship sighted. Let's accelerate to investigate. Yep, there they are. That looks like a proper attack force. We'll see what they've got. Okay, at least 2 light cruisers, possibly more, and destroyers. This could be rough. Alright, so they've got 3 cruisers, all of the TOG class. Well, I said this could be rough, but it looks like it'll be rough for them. Those cruisers are definitely smaller, worse protected, and worse armed. So if we can get into a nice close action, things should go pretty poorly for them. So we'll kick things up to squad max. And it looks like they're turning back. Alright, I'm seeing plenty of hits on the enemy destroyers. I'm going to raise the flotilla attacks order. Hopefully we can get these destroyers into the action. But my primary focus is going to be on these cruisers. Alright, double check our targeting. Yep, looks like we are targeting those cruisers. Actually, no, we're not. Let's switch the target. There we go. Fire shifted. And we'll let our secondaries worry about those destroyers. Let's get some damage on those cruisers. Uh-oh. One of our ships just blew up. Well, that was unexpected. Alright, but the fight must go on. So, on we go. Looks like one of their cruisers is slowing down. We'll see if I can close in and finish it off. We'll get into the close action here. Let's actually slow things down a little bit and zoom in. Looks like our destroyers and our cruisers are getting into the fight as well. Alright, we're at a nice close effective range. We're starting to get our secondaries on target. So hopefully that'll do some good damage. And it looks like we're even firing torpedoes. Well, I'm not seeing any hits yet, but we're definitely doing damage. Oh yeah, look at that. Uh-oh. Looks like they are starting to get damage on the convoy. That said, we're getting damage on their attack force, so hopefully we can sink their cruisers. Alright, one of their cruisers is most definitely damaged and stopped. There we go. Yeah, multiple hits. We'll see if we can get in on this other one as well. If I can sink 2 for the one. Yeah, there we go. One of those cruisers is down. And now we're starting to get damage on the second one. Well, I don't see any fires yet, but I'm definitely seeing hits. Oh yeah, we're definitely starting to tell. Let's see, is she sinking yet? Not officially. So we'll circle around, we'll give it one more pass, and then we'll go after that third ship. Oh yeah, she's burning, she's stopped. I think that's a kill. Oh yeah, look at that, that's pretty big fire. Alright, we'll continue north after this other cruiser, and hopefully my own destroyers will decide to rejoin me at some point. We'll pick the pace up to normal speed, so we don't spend too much time in this extended chase. Now that we're getting closer, we can start slowing down again. Alright. Looks like that's a destroyer down. Outstanding. And I think we may be able to get in on this TAG class as well. Let's pause for a moment. Let's slow down to cruising speed so we don't pass too quickly. Yeah, look at that. She's slowed down. She's turning out of control. Oh yeah. That, I think, is going to be a kill. All right, we'll keep our range open for a little bit, just to make sure we don't inadvertently get torpedoed. There we go. Now we're starting to get some hits again. All right, there we go. TAG class hit by torpedo. And that one's on fire and burning, and that is another destroyer. Well, that is a destroyer kill as well. Hit that thing with a torpedo. All right, we're going to circle back around, make sure we finish off this TAG class. We'll just do one more pass, and then we'll see about chasing off those few remaining destroyers. We will retract the flotilla attack, and hopefully we can reform. I know those French destroyers went to the northwest, so we'll just head in that general direction just in case they try anything. We'll pick the game speed up to normal, and we'll see what we can find. Alright, we'll go up to squad max, see if we can actually corner these things. Alright, so they keep on popping in and out of sight. Hopefully we'll be able to get them cornered against Ireland. And then we've got sunset, so sighting ranges are going down. But we still keep getting the occasional spot, so we'll take it. Oh, and that is the end. Alrighty, so we sank 3 out of, apparently they had a 4th cruiser out there somewhere. No idea where. They failed to sink their transports. And we took down 2 destroyers, but for some reason they decided that this was a French victory. Just because of the loss of 1 cruiser and 8 auxiliaries. We lost 8 auxiliaries? Let's take a look at that. Okay, so they did sink a bunch of transports. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 transports sunk. So they did hit the convoy, and they did sink a bunch of ships. They just didn't get credit for the mission. Interesting. Well, I think we're going to call it to a close here. So, marginal victory for them. Alright, and it looks like America did respond to the blockade. Quick double check there. Yeah, they moved their, at least some ships back north. There's their dreadnought and a bunch of pre-dreadnoughts. Alright. Yep, looks good to me. Oops, let's recenter that. Alright. But we're coming up on the 45-minute mark, So it's time to call it here. Until next time, Kotor87 signing out.